Hello, and I guess today's segment is called Doers. I just wanted this to be brief, a little bit of a call to action, a little bit of like talking about what a doer is in so many ways. But yeah, are you a doer? Now the reason why I ask is because you'd be surprised. There's just a big percentage of people that don't do whatever do means, right? So let's define it. So being a doer, like, do you just complain? Do you have an issue with yourself? Do you have an issue in life and then you don't do anything about it? You just kind of gripe about it. It's very popular right now to live in a time where we just kind of voice it, but we don't try to like act on it. And then now with social media and all that, it's really popular to just put out a vote and that's it. You know, most recently, which I thought was really interesting, was I joined a group. It was like sort of a friend on social media. It was like, let's all do stuff. Let's all be like proactive. I'm like, yeah. And they started off first with like a clothing thing. So it was like, let's all meet at this apartment, bring clothing. We'll like swap it so that we're not like buying new stuff and we can just like take on things. So I'm like, cool. What a good opportunity. Saw on the social media forum, 20 people might show up or something. I'm like, cool. Then I find out like the day of, no one showed up except one person. And like the only reason why I even noticed was because then there was like a cancellation for that thing. And I'm just kind of going, dang. You can't even get people to show up for a clothing thing. And they said they would. So side tangent, don't say yes to something if you're not going to go to it. Like on the social media thing, don't click yes. There's even a maybe button. So that blows my mind when people flake that way. But anyway, I was just like, dang, there are just not a lot of doers. So the call to action part is like, are you a doer? Do you know doers? I'm kind of asking people right now, like, if they know 10 doers, 10 people that are proactive, 10 people that want change, people that want to help the world be a little bit better. And so if you're watching this, please reach out and say, yeah, I know some people. That'd be kind of cool. But right now, it's just more of like a watch the video kind of thing. I'm trying to like archive, trying to see just how many people are out there. But yeah, so I'm being kind of vague on purpose, but I'm just amazed with how many people don't want to act on something. And you have to understand that when you guys are kind of skeptic and you don't want to act on something or help out if it's minor, like if the person's not asking for a whole lot or whatnot, it does then create this path of like, God, like it takes a toll out of you because you're just kind of going, there are so many people that just don't want to help. They say they do, but they just don't really want to help. And we all have our lives and we all have our things, but it's just like, that's why like nothing really changes, is because you get exhausted after a while. You just kind of go, dang, okay, I'm trying here. Other people don't want to get on board, blah, blah. That's a whole nother thing. Then there's the individual who's like a piece and wants to change the world, but then doesn't, really act on it either. So there's so many parts to it, but I'm just so amazed with how many people just talk. They just talk with everything. You can make the task as simple as possible for them, and they will not do it. They'll complain. They'll just have some excuse not to do it, and then just continue living their life. And that's what just makes this world so interesting. So anyway, the reason why I just say all that is, nothing in particular. Nothing in particular happened recently. It was just more of like this epiphany. Are we, this evolved human race? Are we these people that want to make the world better, or are we just, here on this planet kind of thing, and claim to be the higher species, the intelligent race? Like, what are we? Because thanks to me, like, for instance, it blows my mind that we still are a society that solely functions off of like electricity, off of power grids, when we have so many other ways, solar and hydro and all that stuff. And it's just like, blows my mind that we're not this world that utilizes all of them without question, without thinking economics, without thinking, all that jazz. It's just we would do. It's hard to wrap your mind around something where it's like we just adapt. Oh, this is created, let's try it out, but it's like, no, we have to think in terms of how we've been raised the previous generation, where it's like, well, that's not economically sound, it costs too much, it's too cost effective, we can't, blah blah blah. And it's just like, all right, and then we don't, and then now it's been like going off of power grids that my grandfather used, you know pumping gas at the gas station, just like how my grandfather did. And you're just kind of going, okay, we live in a world where we charge our phones at home, and yet we don't want to get electric cars. It's like just weird stuff. But that's talking green. There's other things about going. One thing I could talk about is that Greta gal. Can't remember her last name right now, but that little child who's being all green and stuff, and she's like this voice and goes on the Senate and goes to the not the Senate, the global committee. Man, I am blanking right now. She's like, how dare you, how dare you. Anyway, she's a semi-doer. She's getting around there. But yeah, so I'm just curious, like, I had a buddy. This is a kind of a tangent story, but had a weight issue. And I'm like, well, you're working out. He's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But he's also that guy who just goes like, yeah, 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 and like will never like take action or take ownership. So then I'm like, all right, well, if you are exercising to make yourself better, because that's your gripe, like how far, like what's the extent you're going? Because there's the version of exercise that you and I do where it's like, you know, we do a few things and we're like, yeah, and then there's what a trainer gets you to do, and you're pushing yourself to the limit, and that's when you see the difference. So it's like if somebody gives you some like little things to help you with, are you the person who will actually do it? Are you a complainer, or are you gonna do it? Are you a yapper, or are you gonna like take on whatever the task is? Do you want that change truly? One of my I did a track where I talked about sacrifice, and I talked about how people back in the day would leave their country, come to America, not know the language, not have a dollar in their pocket, or whatever, euro, whatever their money currency was, and they would have to adapt in this brand new world. Whew, that's called sacrifice. Now, you can't get people to stop drinking coffee with the plastic cups and the plastic lids. You can't even get people to stop doing their drinking out of a straw. There has to be a straw debate. There has to be a long debate about it. We can't all just quit. And it's hilarious, We talk about sacrifices and stuff, and we're just kind of going, what are we doing? So anyway, I want to cut it short because it's like the call to action is like, are you a doer? Do you know doers? Let's build something. Let's bring all the doers together, stuff like that. So anyway, little pause, little dramatic flair, and we'll call it a day.